Police officers have stopped a Chinese national arriving off a flight from Hong Kong.
Incident sparked public outrage, while female airport workers criticized officials.
Between Chinese, Korean, and Japanese people, in your opinion?
Food waste, cigarette butts, and all sorts of things. And I think in general, a bad vibe.
This China.
This one is our
China,
problem.
this one. You
This
must
is
behave
Malaysia.
like a foreigner.
And I hope it stops soon because it's fucking annoying.
What do you feel maybe makes Japanese tourists different from other tourists?
I think the big difference.
The Japanese go there, they clean up, they make sure not a single piece of trash.
This Japanese lady respectfully bowed to the royal guard in this horse. As soon as she bowed, the horse immediately nodded its head.
We're kind of honored to be here, so we don't want to make the mess and then leave it.
Thank you, Japan, for coming here, setting an example and treating our country the way that you treat your own. Appreciate the respect.
どうも皆さんこんにちは。子供の頃からの夢だった念願の中国旅行に向けて今日も元気にリサーチを続けている動画投稿主です。中国といえば4000年の歴史を持つ偉大な国。孔子や老子といった数々の偉人を輩出し、仁や礼に重んじる。まさに東洋における道徳と礼儀の故郷と言っても過言ではありません。最近はニュースなどで世界中を飛び回る中国人観光客の話題をよく耳にしますが、きっと彼らもそんな偉人たちの素晴らしい教えを受け継ぎ、さぞかし洗練されたマナーと徳の高さで行く先々の国から大歓迎されているに違いありません。私もいずれ中国へ行く身として、彼らのスマートでグローバルな振る舞いからぜひ真の礼儀というものを学んでおきたいなと思っているんです。その一方で実際のところ、日本人旅行客は世界でどう見られているのかも気になるところ。そこで今回は世界各国を訪れる中国人旅行客と日本人旅行客に対する海外のリアルな反応をリサーチしてみました。果たして孔子や老子の教えを胸に世界を巡る中国人観光客たちは一体どんな素晴らしい姿を見せてくれるのでしょうか。いやー、なんだか背筋が伸びる思いですね。めちゃくちゃ楽しみです。それじゃあ今回も早速行ってみましょう。
At Incheon International Airport in South Korea, dozens of Chinese tourists were seen ignoring airport rules at Terminal 1. Instead of following the designated queue, they lowered their bodies, pushed their luggage carts through the barriers, cut in line, and rushed straight toward the check-in counters. The scene quickly became chaotic. Some airport staff members were pushed and bumped while trying to maintain order, according to Yonhap news agency. Similar incidents involving Chinese tourists have happened at least 5 times in July alone. The incidents were mainly linked to some Chinese purchasing agents who carry large amounts of goods across the border. These travelers often have to complete departure procedures quickly, so they cut through the lines and rush to the front to get processed first.
これは一体。次の動画は、とある空港での中国人女性の様子なのですが、なんでもこの女性、機内持ち込みの荷物が重すぎて搭乗できなかったことに感触を起こして地面を転げ回ったのだとか。
Force officers have stopped a Chinese national arriving off a flight from Hong Kong. Officers closely inspect her travel documents and soon notice some inconsistencies. This passenger's story just doesn't add up. So a full baggage search will now be carried out to make sure she is not attempting to bring anything.
Resist.
All night.
She becomes increasingly agitated by the routine search. Woman says it's just hair products, but a swab test has returned a positive result for a narcotic.
こちらはイギリス・ロンドンの有名な観光地、ホースガーズです。門の前で馬に乗ったこの駅兵を見学できる人気スポットらしいのですが、ここを訪れた中国人旅行客たちを見てみましょう。 旅行先でテンションが上がってしまうのはなんとなくわかるのですが、なんだかめちゃくちゃ怒られているようですね。気性の荒い馬なんでしょうか。
For Chinese people just incapable of traveling on their own, maybe with a small group of friends, or by themselves, or with their family. I went to the Stalin Museum, which was just filled with like 50 Chinese people all traveling together. And they do this everywhere, and I don't understand it. It's very like, it's like bot behavior. I genuinely don't think I've ever seen a Chinese person just like traveling normally like the rest of the world. And I hope it stops soon, because it's fucking annoying.
孔子や老子先生は一体どこへ？私が思い描いていた礼儀と道徳の国の姿とはなんだかだいぶ違うような。ここからは少し日本人旅行客についてのリアルな反応についても見ていきましょう。
I tell you what, I don't meet a lot of Japanese tourists, but when I do, they seem to be the best tourists every single time. I mean, look at the World Cup in the USA, a country that doesn't have a lot of respect for other countries and thinks it's the best country a lot of the time. But the Japanese go there, they clean up, they make sure not a single piece of trash is left behind in their seats or around their seats or in their entire section. These are the type of people we're talking about here. The Japanese are elite. And when I've gone to Vietnam, when I've gone to Thailand and I've met Japanese people, they have been so lovely every time. Respectful, humble, incredible, intelligent people that have respect for their elders, respect for culture, and respect for unity and cohesion. Honestly, the Japanese people are some of the best people I've ever met, and they live longer than everybody else. And I think that's because they respect each other and they respect the world. Whatever you want to call it, the universe's design, the way of the world, they treat people amazingly and they get treated amazingly back. And it's the way it works. Nothing but respect for you Japanese tourists out there. I've loved meeting every single one of you. One of the best groups of tourists I've ever met.
What's the major difference like between Chinese, Korean and Japanese people in your opinion?
I feel like Japanese and Korean people are really polite and Chinese people aren't. That's okay, I'm Chinese, so I can say that. I'm part Chinese. So.
In my opinion, their culture is totally different. The Chinese eye is like very thin.
Vibe, it's mostly vibe.
Japanese people seems like business. Intuitive.
What do you feel maybe makes Japanese tourists different from other tourists or other travelers international?
Initially, I think the big difference is the willingness to travel overboard.
こちらのアシュリー・ハービー氏は観光地マーケティングやホスピタリティマネジメントの専門家ということなのですが、彼は日本人旅行者をどのように分析しているのでしょうか。
So roughly about 23% of Japanese have passports. So it's quite a small market. And for a country of 126 million, the outbound market is 20 million. To put that into perspective, and if I can remember correctly, there's around about 50 million Koreans, and I think they made 30 million outbound trips. There's 60 million British or so, and we made close to 100 million trips. This is 2019. I think the initial big difference is a reluctance to travel, which sort of comes back to the point we just made about how comfortable Japan is to live, right?
If you're a tourist whose behavior makes news, it is usually bad news. You've thrown punches on a plane, you've broken a local treasure, you've bothered the local wildlife, or you've just generally made a fool of yourself very far from home. Which is why, when you first hear about Japanese soccer fans at the World Cup waving these giant blue plastic bags around, you might assume the worst. But this is not another case of soccer hooliganism or tourists gone wild, far from it. When the game is over, win or lose, or as seen here yesterday after a tie with the Netherlands, they use those blue bags to clean up the stadium, bottle by bottle, bagging trash until it's gone.
It's like respect for everything, respect for the players, supporters, and also for the stadium. We're kind of honored to be here, so we don't want to make the mess and then leave it.
Now, of course, Japan, like any country, has its problems, and their team is not expected to leave with a World Cup trophy. But their fans have already earned something that tourists from most countries have not: a little global respect.
I don't think that we deserve to have Japan here in our country. Like, they're doing things that we should be doing ourselves. And that surprised me on a regular day to see someone throw their trash on the ground just as easy as they picked up the trash. Thank you, Japan, for coming here, setting an example and treating our country the way that you treat your own. Appreciate your respect.
同じ東アジアの日本と中国ですが、その旅行者への評価はかなり違うように見受けられます。 これはたまたまなんでしょうか。調べてみて分かったのですが、中国初の海外旅行者数は2025年実績で延べ約8000万人から9000万人規模。今回私がたまたま見たのがそういう旅行客だっただけのことで、迷惑行為に及ぶ旅行者はきっと一部だけのはず。ですよね。確認のためにここからはもう一度中国からの海外渡航者への反応を見ていくことにしましょう。
Aside from an affinity for milk powder, Chinese tourists visiting Taiwan also seem to want stones from Taiwan's beaches. But picking up a load of stones is not allowed, as the Chinese couple heading home found out yesterday. They were stopped at the airport with 5 kilos of stones collected at Xixingtan Beach in Hualien and had to give them up.
In fact, guides often remind Chinese tourists not to pick up stones in Taiwan. But the message doesn't always get through.
When Chinese tourists go to a place, they are used to collecting souvenirs, and they try to collect loose stones. But we have rules.
Nah, I'm not even kidding. You better pick that up. I don't care. No, I don't.
こちらの女性は私有地で排便していた中国人観光客を捉えたそうです。どういう状況？
Clean it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. You better pick it up.
China has a tourist behavior epidemic, and they love to deny that it is a problem. Garbage, food wastes, cigarette butts, and all sorts of things, and I think in general a bad vibe. In this news report, a tourist from the mainland was fined for dumping garbage on the beach, and his friend was interviewed afterwards, and he says this.
So basically,
the argument, according to his friend, is that as long as I have money, who cares about manners and basic decency? Gotcha.
残念ながら世界中で問題になっていたようです。しかもこれ、何も海外だけでの話ではないそうで、自国である中国国内でも問題になっているのだとか。
We don't want to live here. We want our money back.
5 people to a room? Do you expect us to sleep on the floor? You've got to be kidding me.
I'm here to help you. Don't speak to me in that tone. Before arriving in Hong Kong, the group of 29 visiting from the southeastern province of Fujian had tried to book a total of 7 rooms meant to accommodate 24 people for just a single night, according to authorities. The expired credit card they had used to book the $1,000 expense, however, was declined. Apparently knowing full well they didn't have a proper reservation ahead of their departure, the group nonetheless decided to air their grief with hotel staff.
もちろん近隣国である日本でも問題になっているようで、中国人観光客が宿泊費を節約するために路上やコインロッカーで寝泊まりしていることがあるのだとか。コインロッカーって、へえ。ただ、各国もこのような惨状を看過しているばかりではありません。次第に中国人旅行者の迷惑行為への反発も大きくなっているようです。
Greeted with a slap on the face, Chinese traveler gets special treatment from Philippine airport official. This Chinese tourist was still mouthing off even as she was being dragged on the floor in Manila International Airport. After the video went viral, the Chinese embassy asked the commissioner of the Philippines Bureau of Immigration to deal with the international incident. The tourist was deported.
In June this year, a bizarre incident occurred at the Incheon International Airport. a male Chinese tourist who had just entered the country was suspected of entering a female employee's restroom area and defecating there. The incident sparked public outrage, while female airport workers criticized officials for allegedly trying to downplay the matter. According to South Korean media reports, authorities confirmed that the incident happened inside the female immigration officer's staff lounge. After reviewing surveillance footage, officers found that on the night of June 4th, a male Chinese tourist who had just arrived at the airport had entered the restricted area without warning. They said that although the identity of the Chinese tourist involved had not yet been confirmed, they were considering reporting the case to police and filing charges under the Minor Offenses Punishment Act. Protests calling for No China have appeared in Seoul, while some demonstrators even tore up Chinese flags and images of Xi Jinping.
You are touching my ground. Which ground? You are touching my ground. Is this China? This one is our China, property. This one. This one is Namibia. I'm asking you, is this China? This one is Namibia. You must behave, but we are entitled. Behave like a foreigner. You understand? You must behave like a foreigner. Single bed. You understand? No, first.
なぜ中国人観光客は世界中でこのような行動をとり、反感を買ってしまうのか。動画の情報や中国社会の背景について少し冷静に調べてみました。すると、そこには大きく2つの理由が隠されていたんです。1つ目は、経済学や社会心理学でも言われている欠乏と競争の心理です。約14億人もの人口を抱える中国では、近年、ネイジュアンと呼ばれる過剰な競争が社会問題になっています。受験や就職など、限られた椅子をめぐって常に激しい競争が起きるため、周りが奪い合っているなら自分も行かないと損をするという心理状態になりやすいんだとか。こうした過酷なサバイバル環境で身についた無意識の焦りが海外での強引な振る舞いにつながっているのかもしれません。そして二つ目は急激な社会変化です。実は1960年代からの文化大革命という激動の時代に孔子などの伝統的な道徳観は一度激しく否定されてしまった歴史があるようです。その後中国は数十年の間に猛烈なスピードで世界有数の経済大国へと急成長しました。つまり社会や経済がものすごいスピードで豊かになった一方で、公共のマナーや生活習慣がその変化のスピードにまだ追いついていない状態ということみたいなんですよね。さて、そんな中国の背景が分かったところで、ここからは再び日本人の旅行客に対する海外の反応を見ていくことにしましょう。まずは先ほどのロンドンの観光地、ホースガーズ。中国からの旅行者はめちゃくちゃ怒られてましたが、果たして日本人は
？This Japanese lady respectfully bowed to the royal guard and his horse. As soon as she bowed, the horse immediately nodded its head. Then she stayed behind the white line and posed for a beautiful photo. Before leaving, she bowed one last time, ending the moment with the same respect she began with.
私たち日本人はもはや条件反射でしてしまうお辞儀ですが、日本人旅行者が馬と騎兵に対し自然に敬意を込めてお辞儀をする、このような動画が SNS で話題となり、世界中から称賛の声が届いているようです。動物にも礼儀正しさって伝わるんですね。どうやら気性の荒い馬ではなかったようです。こちらの外国人はそんな日本人旅行者が持つパスポートについて話しています。
My passport is so weak. I need a visa to drive down memory lane. I need a visa to enter my own thoughts. Japanese passport holders can visit 193 countries visa.
ከጸለያችሁ ላይ ቀር የጃፓን አይነት ፓስፖርት ስጠኝ ብላችሁ ጸልዩ። የጃፓን ፓስፖርት ዓለም ላይ በጣም ጠንካራ ከሚባሉ ፓስፖርቶች መካከል ነው ዓለም ላይ። አይ ቲንክ ሁለተኛው ነው እንደውምና ያለ ምንም ቪዛ ማለት ነው ወደ 190 ሀገር መግባት ይችላሉ። ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ያለ ቪዛ ስንት ሀገር መሄድ እንደምትችሉ ታውቃላችሁ? አይ ቲንክ 30 ነው ቢበዛ። እና እንደዚህ የሆነበት ምክንያት ማለት ነው ሁሉ ነገር እንዳለ ሆኖ ትልቁ ሪዝን ምንድነው? ጃፓን ይታመናል፣ ታማኝ ሀገር ናት። ሀገሩ በሆነ ምክንያት የወጣ ሰው እንደሚመለስ 99%
The Japanese passport has been rated the most powerful worldwide for the 6th consecutive year.
The most extensive international locations are visa-free for holders of Japanese passports. Have you been wondering why the Japanese passport is so powerful?
調べてみると、長らく日本のパスポートは世界トップクラスの力を誇っているそうです。その理由は高い国際的信用度や治安の良さと犯罪の少なさ、そして安定した外交関係などが挙げられるようですが、礼儀正しい日本人観光客の信頼の積み重ねも少なからず関係しているのかもしれませんね。念のため、中国旅行者が持っている中国のパスポート事情についても見ておきましょう。
Look at the China passport map and you'll see most of the world is red. Chinese passport holders get into just 42 countries visa-free, covering about 46% of the world.
The Chinese government constantly promotes domestically that Chinese people are standing tall now and that foreigners dare not bully you as long as you hold a Chinese passport. This is a phrase often used by the spokesperson of China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
我进去他就问我哪里人 China 里面的领导直接冲出来哇 China where 北京哇北京直接特事特办不用排队不用检车 ATA 都不用看直接一个护照一个小蓝本登记咣走吧拜拜整个过程5分钟不到
给我看看你的护照 Show me your passport Yes, see We two both have this colored passport But但是我们中国护照有46页 How many pages you have? 34 Which one is more powerful than?
Mine
Why? That's not true
Visas for every page
そんな最強のパスポートを持っている日本人ですが、実はそれを活用する人が少ないということが海外で話題になっているようです。
But in Japan, it's reverse. Despite having the second most powerful passport in the world, only 1 in 6 Japanese citizens actually own one. Why is that?
With other countries that also have really strong passports. Remember, Japan has a population of 125 million, and less than 20% of Japanese people have passports. Now let's compare. The UK has the 3rd strongest passport in the world and a population of nearly 70 million people, and 77% of British people have passports. The US has the 7th strongest passport in the world and a population of around 313 million people, and 56% of Americans have international passports. So clearly, Japan is a unique situation. Simply do not plan to ever travel outside of Japan. According to recent research, as many as 35% of Japanese people do not plan to ever travel outside of the country. And that share, at 35%, is the highest for any country in the world. And it's more than double the share of the second country ranked in the research. According to the same research, the most common reasons why Japanese people do not plan to travel outside Japan include cultural factors like the fact that they place more value on exploring their own country and culture over traveling elsewhere. But there are also other factors that explain why Japanese people don't seem to want to travel outside of their own country.
いかがでしたでしょうか？今回、日本人の振る舞いや最強のパスポートが世界中で高く評価されていることが分かりました。一方で、そんな最強の切符を持ちながら、大半の日本人が海外へ行きたがらない理由も判明しました。それは至ってシンプルで、日本が安全で快適すぎるからです。文化摩擦やトラブルのリスクを背負うくらいなら、治安も良くてご飯も美味しい国内を楽しんだ方がいい。なんだかすごく納得してしまいました。あれっていうか、もしかして、それならわざわざ過酷な競争社会の中国へ行く必要なんて全くない？ずっと日本にいた方が幸せなのでは？いや、私はまだまだ夢の中国旅行を諦めませんよ。きっと私が思い描いていた孔子や老子の教えに基づいた素晴らしい中国のリアルがどこかにあるはずです。なので今後もめげずにリサーチを続けていこうと思います。ぜひコメント欄で今回の動画の感想やご意見を聞かせてください。随時動画を更新していきますので、チャンネル登録もよろしくお願いします。最後までご視聴いただきありがとうございました。